Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the morning show on the Wire to Wire Network, man. There's been a lot of things going on in sports, man. A lot of beautiful things going on in sports, man. Basketball full tilt. You got the people from overseas playing like they in the 90s and early 2000s while the rest of the league is just got to take it right now. Fellas, how was your Monday night?
Mine was a struggle, man. I was struggling, but I got through it. There was a lot of sports going on, and obviously, the Dodgers and the Jays got into like a marathon of all marathons. But it was a long sports weekend for me.
Mm. Guardy, how was your Monday night, man?
It was fantastic. It was, I was pretty much on here all night. We did a On the Ball podcast, and then did the Meaty Boys podcast with a couple of special guests. It was a great time. I absolutely loved it.
So we're going to start with the World Series. Dodgers are now up 2-1. Last night, man, went on an 18-inning stretch with Freddie Freeman closing it out with a single home run to center field. Mo, how you feel about the series so far in that last night game?
I have to give the Blue Jays credit. They're making it into a great series. Last night was intense. A lot of people call it a classic. I'm not gonna front. I can't speak for you or Brett. I did not make it all the way through the game. I was just so worn down. I checked out like the 13th inning. So I had to find out the ending this morning on Sports Center, but it played out like a defensive classic.
Guardy, how you feel about the World Series this far, man?
It's been entertaining. Like, we had two, game 1 and 2. You had decisive wins by both teams, and then they treated us to an 18-inning classic last night. Ironically, I made it to the top of the 18th.
Did you?
And then I fell asleep. And so I literally fell asleep, and then I wake up. It's like, oh, Dodgers went in the bottom of the 18th. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I think I went to sleep like bottom of the 14th. I was like, yo, man, this game is.
No, I was it was a lot of fun though. I was joking with people like, look, we're already at inning 16. Let's just aim for the record, man. The longest baseball MLB professional game, 26 innings. Let's do it. But it ended in 18. It was a great game.
Did they do like a 14 inning stretch in that game, man? In fact, the fact that they walked Otani like 3 straight times, man, it was like we're not taking a chance. And then one guy got greedy. He could have set his team up if he'd have just stopped at third.
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
I can't even blame him. You can't even blame him though, right? Because he's just listening to the coach. The coach sent him.
Come on,
I was so lost. Like, why would you send him?
I was good with it, but yeah.
Say it wasn't even close. He was out by like 3 feet.
He was. Catcher just waiting on it, like, just come on down, man. Here we are. But it's turned out to be a great series, man. The Blue Jays putting up a fight. Everybody thought they was gonna get mopped up in this series. Well, a lot of people say it was gonna get one game out this. I don't know. Like they might take another one, man. They might give them the whole 7 games. We'll see.
It's set up to where it might be a 7-game classic.
But NBA, man, full tilt. I know Mo loves the NBA. Your boy Wemby, man. He's in the league looking like he one of one, man. Last airbender in there, man. Can he keep this going? I mean, he got the Spurs rolling, man. They starting the season 4-0. Do you think Wemby gonna be able to keep this up all season?
I think the Spurs. I had them making the playoffs regardless. I just think that they're that talented when you look at their core. But then factor in what they got coming off the bench with Dylan Harper and Keldon Johnson. That's not to mention they haven't even added Jeremy Sohan, who's going to be part of that rotation as well. So, look, if they're whole, remember they also don't have De'Aaron Fox. If they're whole, they're going to be a playoff contender. The only question is, are they going to be 6, 5, 4? Like they could be ahead of schedule, provided, and this is key, that Wemby can stay healthy. Prior to last night's game, guys, the guy was averaging 33 points, 14 boards, and 6 blocks. Do I think he's going to sustain those averages? I don't, but I do think he's going to put himself in the MVP conversation because the Spurs are going to be a winning team. I think Wemby's going to average around 25, 26 when it's all said and done. Still going to get you around 14 boards. The 6 blocks is crazy, but I'm going to level off and say he averages between 3 and 4 blocks for the season.
Gardy, how you feel about Wemby thus far, man? Is he going to keep the Spurs rolling?
I think Mo kind of nailed it with as long as he can stay healthy and that team stays healthy. Yeah, absolutely. And as long as he's out there, they just look absolutely dominant. And it looks like they're ahead of schedule. I'll give them credit. I thought this team was going to be a year away from, competing for a top seed in the West. But if they keep this up, they could be a year ahead of schedule. And I think a big part of that is not only just Wemby, he's obviously the biggest reason, but Dylan Harper's coming to the league looking like a grown man. Like, he has just looked insanely good. He's going to be an absolute star for them. Him and De'Aaron Fox are going to be a problem in that backcourt for years to come.
And don't forget about Stephen Castle. I said this too also. I said this on N1 last week. If Dylan Harper and Stephen Castle can continue to develop guys at the rate that they're developing, I don't think De'Aaron Fox is going to be a member of the Spurs very long.
I was going to ask you that. What do you think is going to happen with that dynamic? Because Wemby is he's very ball dominant right now. So with Fox coming back, you think Fox is going to be trying to play second fiddle to him?
I think he has to. Wemby is their franchise player. The problem is, though, Fox is not a traditional point guard. He's a scorer. He's a shoot first guy. I don't know if they're going to even be able to mesh well together. And like I said, with the development of the 2 younger guys, you could flip Fox and bring back another asset, right? Like their core is built for the future. And I'm not knocking De'Aaron Fox. I'm a fan of his, but I don't even think the Spurs front office realized that those 2 young guys were going to come on the scene and develop as fast as they have. Like, Castle's in year 2, Harper's in year 1, and Harper looks like he's been playing for 3 or 4 years. So I think the better they get, the less valuable to them, talking about the Spurs, De'Aaron Fox is.
How you feel about when Fox coming back? You think they're going to mesh well, Gardy?
Oh, absolutely. We didn't really get a lot of that last year, but in the limited, I think they played only a couple games, together last year, and we're talking about like De'Aaron Fox was averaging, had a 14 assist game, had a 60-point game for him. I just think, when De'Aaron Fox comes back, he's just going to absolutely unlock the Spurs even further. So, and the thing about De'Aaron Fox, too, is you got a young backcourt, star that's only, I believe, 27 years old. So he could be a Wemby running mate now for another, 3 years, 4 years. But you can even extend that even further if you don't, end up moving him for another 8 years. So, like, he's still a really young guy, and he can be a future building block next to Wemby for years to come.
Speaking of young guys, Gardy, let's talk about them, man. VJ Edgecombe, and Tyrese Maxey are looking like a very good dynamic duo out there in Philadelphia, man. Starting the season 3-0. No Embiid, really.
Good.
How scary is this duo to you right now?
It's so weird that to look at a team, right, and go, yeah, no, the 2 rookies look great. Now, I just don't know what I have in your 2 $110 million players there. They look fantastic. The 76ers have looked great when they're playing fast. And obviously, this could be a really dangerous team. Once again, it just comes back down to what are you getting out of Joel Embiid consistently this year? what are you getting out of Paul George consistently this year? Because if they can come back and even play at a like if Embiid can come back and play even at like an all-star caliber level, Paul George can be like a high-end role player, then this is a very dangerous team. And as long as you can find a way to balance the pace that Embiid wants to play and the pace that the young guys want to run, it's gonna be a lot of fun. This could be a very scary team come late in the season.
But my thing is with Edgecombe and Maxi playing the way they are and they actually winning games, do you look to start trying to move Paul George and Embiid out of there to find something else?
You got to find somebody that wants him. That's the problem.
Who's taking on Paul George's contract?
Hey, you can always find a dummy. You know what I mean?
That's true. Charlotte's still in the league. Sacramento's still in the league. You're right. You're right. No shortage of them. Look, I think they're behind schedule. I said they should have moved Embiid a year ago. A year ago. What he has going on health-wise is chronic, which means he's never going to get better. He's going to have good days and bad days, and the bad days are starting to outlast the good days. When you've got a dynamic backcourt, you've got other talent perimeter players. Remember, they got McCain that'll be back healthy. Jim Kelly is still on the roster. They don't lack for wing talent, and they want to play fast. What they don't want to do is walk it up and wait for Embiid to cross the half-court line. I think keep holding on to Embiid is going to be the anchor around their neck. They got to move on from him, and they got to move on from him while he's still relatively healthy.
Mo, how about VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey, man? How you feel about their play so far this season?
I think they click well. They've got natural chemistry. What it gives you not just two guys who can create their own shots and create for others. It gives you dynamic speed and athleticism when you look at Edgecombe, and then Maxey's incredible ability to shot create. Last night, they combined for like 69 points, 15 assists. So they can get buckets, but they're also creating opportunities for their teammates. As long as they can play fast, they're a tough cover. I think the only thing that stops them is when Embiid's on the floor. I think the Sixers, Brett said it, they've got to find a balance between how you play with Embiid, which is more half-court oriented, and how you get the best version of Maxey and Edgecombe. They want to play fast. And that's a tough balance to have if you're a coach. I don't even know how you make that work. And when Paul George comes back, another older player who's going to want to play a little bit slower, somebody's got to go. That's all I'm saying. If it's not Embiid, it's got to be Paul George, but somebody got to go.
So Cottrell said if PG and B give the Sixers 70 games and they're healthy in the postseason, man, they're a true title contender. Do you agree?
Is that 70 games combined?
Total between
right?
the two.
Like so right, one plays 35 and the other plays 35? Because that's realistic. But
he said total games? Between them, 70 between both of them, and go in the postseason healthy.
Nah, I don't think they're title contenders because even when he was fully healthy, at his peak of peaks, Joel Embiid was a playoff choker. So why would I think that the washed up, broken down version of him is going to be any better? I think if they go into the postseason, could they win a first round series? Sure, but a deep playoff run, not if Embiid and Paul George are focal points. If they turn the franchise over to the younger guys and build around them and make Embiid and Paul George complementary players, that might be different.
But what if they go with Edgecombe and Maxey being their primaries and Embiid being maybe a third option and just being a defending rebounder?
Well, one, he can't defend him more because he can't move. But yes, he as a third option at this point in his career because of his health, I think he has value that way. I don't need Embiid at an all NBA level, but I do need him to play at an all-star level. If he can be an all-star caliber player and a complement to the younger guys, I think in that way, Cottrell might be right because the East is wide open.
And the thing about Joel Embiid being a third option is, and this is kind of the part that I've seen people suggest this, but I think this is the part that people forget. he wants to have to be a third option and buy into that role. And that's kind of where a lot of these, third option, superstar ideas fall apart. Some guys just aren't ready to buy in and be that third option and defer and take less shots. So I also one. I'm just not sure if Joel Embiid's just willing to defer and be a third option. He might be, but
why not? You want to win, or you want to just be? I mean, you're gonna be injury prone the rest of your career. Your career pretty much is almost cooked. So while these two young guys are hot, you might as well go be their third option and their defensive anchor.
I think Brett brings up a good point though, because Embiid would have to want to defer and be a third option. But remember, that would mean Paul George would have to be cool with being a fourth option.
Playoff P.
Everybody is not going to be happy with a reduced role.
I mean, you still starting. You ain't coming off the bench,
right? But you're not averaging 22 or 23 a game. Now you're playoff P averaging 16 a game. And you're deferring.
Maybe 10.
That's not good. Well, for what he's being paid, he got to go. That's way too much money for 10 damn points. Jim Kelly will give you 15. They got Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly will give you 15.
Oh man! So 3 games into the NBA season, man, and the Celtics and Pacers are 0-3. Guardy, is this the type of season are you predicting is going to go for the Pacers and Celtics without Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton?
Definitely the Celtics are an interesting one because they could very well bounce back. A lot of these games, it just feels like they're missing a lot of open shots they normally hit. That being said, I don't expect it to get that much better for the Celtics. Like maybe they heat up to get a play-in spot, but it's funny because for all the hate that Jason Tatum got over the last couple of years, you see how important he was to this team already. They're missing, their playmaking wing. Jason Tatum is also one of the best, rebounding wings that can create for others. You're already just seeing like the massive, Tatum-sized hole in this team. And when it comes to the Pacers, I think that this might be what you see from them, and it's not just because of the loss of Halliburton. It's the loss of Miles Turner too. Like, that's been heavy. Like, you want guys who can, at least pass, cut, and rebound. And so far this year, like Jay Huff hasn't been that for them. James Wiseman was so bad they need a center and waived him anyway. Like, garbage. It's one of those things that I think this might be what you see from both teams, but I do have some faith that the Celtics could possibly, turn it around so make the play-in spot. Pacers, I'm more unsure about them.
I think the Celtics make the playoffs. I think they'll find a way. The Celtics are going to make the playoffs. They'll find a way to steady the ship. Remember, you only have to make the play-in and win your way into the play-in. Who's going to stop the Celtics from making the play-in? Like if we're going to we can't go. It's way too early to write teams off. We're 3 games in, not 60 games in. We're 3 games in. I want to remind you, correct me if I'm wrong, aren't the Bulls 3-0? Like, are they 2-1, 3? I think they're 3-0. My point is, Chicago's not even going to make the playoffs. They're 3-0 right now. We gotta calm down a little bit. All I'm saying is, Brett's right. You see the true value of Jason Tatum when you watch Boston play now. But I think with Jaylen Brown, Miles Simons, and Derek White, they have enough to get into the play-in and eventually get into the playoffs. I think Halliburton is so much of what they do in Indiana in terms of the pace, the shot creation, not to mention he can drop 18 or 19 himself. I don't think there's anybody on that roster that can fill that void.
So let me ask you this. Who is the scariest team in the East right now?
I don't think there are any scary teams in the East.
You don't think the Cavs are?
No, I don't. I think I will say this: if Lonzo Ball can stay healthy, and that's a huge if. That might be the best. That's more of a bigger if than Embiid staying healthy. If Lonzo Ball can stay healthy, he provides an element that the Cavs have been missing ever since they became relevant again. I think Lonzo Ball staying healthy makes Cleveland a legitimate threat to win the East. But there's no dominant team in the East. I think Cleveland and New York, I think they're all on the same level. I don't think one's better than the other. I think they're very similar. There is no beast in the East, which is why I said it's wide open, which gives hope to some of the lesser contenders. It's why people say, well, if Embiid is healthy and Paul George is healthy, you're actually saying the Sixers are going to be title contenders. I wouldn't go so far as to say title contenders. Let's stick with making the playoffs.
Gardy, what you think, man? Who the scariest team in the East is to you?
I'd say first off, Blue Flamer. I ain't letting go of my retro J.R. Smith jersey, so we're gonna have to let that one go.
After the drunk moment, you don't want to give his jersey up, man.
Look, I hold this one very near and dear. So, scariest team in the East. I still think it's the usual suspects we talked about before the season, right? When we talk Knicks, Cavs, Magic, I think Orlando has struggled defensively, but I don't think they just stopped being a good team defensively. I think they're just still having new moving parts that are trying to get used to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Cavs and Knicks are always going to be right there. I have no doubt that Milwaukee will probably bounce back and be a top 4 seed. I think it's still the usual suspects. Once the big key to the early in the season is don't overreact, because like Mo kind of alluded to, you got teams like the best team in the league right now is the Bulls, and I'm willing to bet $100 that will not last. Going into game 70. So overall, I'm not going to overreact, and I think that it's going to be the usual suspects we talked about before this year started.
The Bulls being the best team in the league, I don't think that holds up to game 10. I think that is fairly soon. Look, it's early, and there are some teams that aren't that good that are looking pretty good, but that's why it's early. And you really can't tell what a team is or isn't until you're at least 25, 30 games into a season.
So, Mo, tell me what the Lakers are to you right now.
Well, before Luka was injured, before we knew LeBron was going to miss as much time as he's going to miss, I thought they were a team that could make the playoffs. If you're asking, do I think they were title contenders fully healthy? No, they don't. They don't have enough shooting, and they still don't have any athletic wings. They're one of the least athletic teams in the NBA, and they have a problem. You could argue that their 3 best players are not good defenders. So even when they're fully healthy, they're not really stopping anybody. And you bring in DeAndre Ayton, low expectations, but we all said it's a low risk, high reward kind of move. Well, I'm not going to panic because we're 3 games in, but I've watched all 3 games, and he's the same guy he's always been. Low energy, low motor, softer than Cottonelle. He is what he is. He hasn't disappointed me, but he hasn't surprised me either. And I was hoping he would surprise me.
Gardy, what you think, man? How you feel about the Lakers this far?
Is it time to trade Luka and LeBron and build around Austin Reeves? The real question that needs to be answered.
I think so.
Man, you do that, I'm hanging my jersey up, man. I'm gonna have to move around this team, man.
Really?
No, they're an interesting team, right? I still think they're about the same territory that I kind of viewed them before the year. I think this is a playoff team, but I don't think their defense is going to be good enough to get them all the way. I think that's going to be their Achilles heel, because at the end of the day, when you're running lineups with LeBron, Austin Reeves, and Luka, it's going to be hard to get stops when you need to defensively.
Right.
So, and the problem is you don't really have the depth behind them to put in a defensive stopper, because the only defensive stopper you have is Jared Vanderbilt. But Jared Vanderbilt also can't hit a wide open 3 if it's at all if you lock them in a gym empty. So overall, it's a weird team. I don't think there's enough defense, and their one really good defensive player, he's like unplayable because of how bad he is on offense. So I think they're going to have to end up making a move at some point to try to address that wing size defensive hole that they have.
Gardy, what's let me see. What is your take on the Milwaukee Bucks as of now?
Oh, my take. Look, I actually really like what I've seen from the Bucks so far. They're playing a lot faster, which I think when you have a team with Giannis, you should be trying to run in transition. They're shooting a lot of threes, earlier in the shot clock, which is it's great because the right people are shooting them. AJ Green's been bombing away. Gary Trent, Miles Turner, he's coming along slowly offensively, but defensively, he's been an impact player. But the takeaway from the Bucks is Giannis again, right? He's he's arguably having the best season that we may have ever seen from him through obviously 3 games. But when he's starting out like he has, and he's shooting 66% from three while being an absolute demon on the defensive end, and he's still dominating in the paint. Giannis has been unstoppable, and this is honestly maybe the best that I've ever seen him look. Just even start a year. So I love this, new look team that's just, playing at a much faster pace. And everybody's been playing well so far. I'm still not going to get sucked into, fully because I got to wait and see. I want to give it like 25, 30 games before I make a real assessment. But first, 3 games here, I've been pleased with them.
Mo, what's your take on the Bucks so far?
Look, they'll go as far as Giannis and Miles Turner take them, and if they can get solid contributions to their perimeter players around them, I think the Bucks are legitimate playoff contenders. I don't think they have enough talent to be a title contender. Not as presently constructed, but they're going to be able to make the playoffs because of the greatness of Giannis. So I don't doubt they'll make the playoffs. I'm just not sure how deep a run they could go with their current roster. I want to say they need to make a move, but I don't even know if they can make a move because they made a lot of moves. Like the weird move to get Miles Turner, that's going to cost them for like 10 years. So I don't think they can make a move. I think that and they do have young talent. If Giannis can elevate some of the young talent and they can continue to develop, they might surprise a lot of people in the East. But it's tough sledding because you've got one of the greatest players in the NBA in his prime, and I don't know if he has enough talent around him to really make another deep run.
Switching gears here. Guardy, I'm going to start with you on this one, man. Monday Night Football. Patrick Mahomes and company took care of business against the no Jaden Daniels Commanders. Can we start talking about the Chiefs back to their old selves for this last ride? Because this is definitely going to be a last ride with Travis Kelce leaving.
Yeah, it's one of those things with the Chiefs that, this has kind of been a storm brewing for a couple of weeks now. You saw it even when they lost against, for example, their last loss against Jacksonville. You could see the offense was clicking. They were still, scoring 28. This is a very dangerous team as they get healthy. I know I was a little. They started out really slow. I was a little unsure of them to start out the year just because of how anemic their offense looked, but it's really picked up, and the defense also has been picking up their pace. So as long as their key wideouts stay healthy, then this is the same dangerous Chiefs team. That's the team to beat. I don't think Jaden Daniels would have made any difference in last game. They were not a Jaden Daniels away from competing in that game. So there was clearly a better football team last night, and it was the Kansas City Chiefs. So they've been ramping it up, getting into shape, and hey, look out. Looks like Kansas City's still the team to beat come playoff time.
Mo, what you think, man? I think Chiefs back for this last run.
Look, a couple things have happened. They've gotten healthy. They've gotten Rice back. They've got Worthy back, so they have speed on the outside. The offensive line has been playing better. The defense has always been solid. And I would say look at their divisional opponents. They've been devastated, especially the Chargers by injury. Devastated by injury. Geno Smith alone is killing the Raiders. They're done. Like Geno's agent.
Lay off Geno, man.
All right. Well, Geno's just been horrible. Just regular, good old fashioned horrible. And the Broncos are dominant defensively, but I think their offense is still inconsistent. So it is set up to where the AFC West, it looks like, I didn't see it coming before the season started, but it looks like it's business as usual. The AFC West is going to be won by the Chiefs, which eventually will mean the road to the Super Bowl is going to go through Kansas City again.
Speaking of the AFC, man, do you see, Mo, that the Ravens are still got a chance to win this division?
I've been saying that. So at the NFL Genius, we've been saying that because, like I said, Pittsburgh is going to come back to the pack. Pittsburgh is they're about to have a whole lot of L's. They're going to be coming back. Their defense is terrible. It's old, slow, and overpaid. And the offense, outside of Aaron Rodgers having a throwback game, the offense is stagnant. They don't have a good run game. They've really only got one legitimate threat on the outside. It's not a good football team. What it is typical Mike Tomlin winning with smoke and mirrors, and they're doing it again. But every year, though, the last 5 or 6 years, it catches up to them, and they come back to the pack. They're getting Lamar Jackson back because they got a bye week, and then Lamar's going to be up to play. And if you look at their schedule, yeah, I 100% think the Ravens are going to walk them down and win that division.
Guardy, what you think?
What's funny? I'm still not 100% sold on the Ravens, right? And it's the biggest problem isn't Lamar Jackson, obviously. It comes on the defensive side on the ball. And look, I know they intercepted Caleb Williams. It was a great interception by Nate Wiggins, but that's just, not enough for me, right? I need to see it for a couple weeks in a row before I fully buy in. Because before he got hurt, we saw, Lamar Jackson dropping 40. Guess what? The defense let up 41, and they still lost. And we saw this trend for, weeks where the defense is just giving up everything in the run, through the air. So do I think that they could walk them down and win the division? Yeah, it's very possible. Anything's possible. I've predicted the Ravens to win the division before the year started. But I need them to prove it, at least for a couple weeks in a row and against at least one real, contender that they can get stops when they need to. So I'm going to give a very cautious, I absolutely believe they can, but they need to prove it on defense first.
Since we here on the Ravens, man, the Ravens are playing this Thursday against the Dolphins. Now, I want to ask y'all about this game and Action Jackson returning with that defense, but the problem I'm having is I don't even know what to make of the Dolphins as of right now. I don't know. Their leadership is all over the place. Their seasons are shaping up and being all over the place. And I'm going to say that because they got starting out with week 1, they got blown out by the Colts. 5 close games after that. Then they get blown out by the Browns, and then they blow out the Falcons recently. So what do we make of this game? Are we taking the Dolphins serious this year again? And do you think they can win against the Ravens, Mo?
Well, we're not taking them serious. But what I will say is, you can call it an overreaction. I'll make it real simple. If the Ravens lose to the Dolphins, season's over. Season's over. If they lose to the Dolphins, season's over. Matter of fact, if they lose to the Dolphins, Harbaugh, we want your key card back. Fired. Fired.
You ain't see Tua out there? He had a 4-touchdown game last week, man.
Look, that's because people are so quick to overrate Atlanta. They need to stop that. They need to stop that. They're not a good football team. They need to stop that. And I told people, Penix is still a young quarterback finding his way.
They had Captain Kurt last week.
Kirk old and washed. I don't mean that.
That's even worse.
Yeah, that's even worse. Old and washed. My point is they're not a good football team. The only thing that's really entertaining about them is Bijan Robinson. But their quarterback play inconsistent. What they do in terms of the play calling, by the way, the play calling is horrible.
You do know the Dolphins defense put Bijan in the box last game.
But the last 3 games he's been put in the box. You know why? Because every team is like, if we take away Bijan Robinson, they got nothing. And guess what? They got nothing. They got nothing.
Bray, what you think?
did the Dolphins defense put him in a box, or did the Atlanta Falcons put him in the box? When you have a quarterback that's like less mobile than me currently, that also has no chemistry with receivers whatsoever, like, yeah, I mean, it's not that hard. You're just kind of like, all right, everybody, eye on Bijan, because I'm not worried about Kirk beating me at this point in his career. So when it comes to the Dolphins, yeah, I completely agree with Mo. If they can't beat the Dolphins, it's over.
Dang. Just
It's
over
over.
like
You say 2 or 3 for 4 touchdowns, that's great. I've watched other quarterbacks do things like that. I watched my backup come in, Matt Flynn, and throw for 6 touchdowns before. So I'm not 100% moved by that. Like, I'm glad you did it 1 week. Do it again. Do it consistently. Show me something to
And look, I know the Ravens defense has been horrible, so you can make the argument that there's going to be an opportunity for Tua to throw for another 2 or 3 touchdowns. But with Lamar back, their offense is going to be that much better. Now, it might be a shootout. We might get one of the more entertaining games of the season. But the bottom line is, if I'm going to be right and the Ravens are going to walk down the Steelers, you cannot lose to the Dolphins. If you lose to the Dolphins, like I said, start firing people. It's over.
Now, would it really be the coach's problem, or is it your personnel on defense problem? Because
coach,
it's got to be the coach, because if you look at the talent on their defense, there's no reason this defense shouldn't be one of the better defenses in football. They've got playmakers on all levels, and they're not making plays. Something's wrong. I don't think, maybe because he's been there forever, that John Harbaugh, that voice has kind of been lost. But I'm gonna put it on the coach. If they lose to the Dolphins, by the way, not a great culture there either. They don't listen to Mike McDaniels. I mean,
they don't.
Tua kicking Mike McDaniels back in, like, that's not a great situation either. Like I feel like whoever loses that game, somebody getting fired.
Come on, man. We can have an any given Sunday moment this Thursday, man. But moving on, Brett, let's talk about them, man. The Packers. Packers take care of business, man, against the Steelers. They improved to 5-1-1. The student versus the sensei. And was this game personal for Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers?
I definitely think it was personal. It's funny, they won't say it, obviously, because I think obviously Rodgers still has a ton of respect for Green Bay, and most of Green Bay still loves, Aaron Rodgers, but I do think he had this one circled on his calendar. And I'll give all the credit in the world to Aaron. I actually thought Aaron looked great. He took care of the football, and he was efficient. I thought there were other reasons why the Steelers lost that game. Say, between the 2 key plays to me were obviously the fumble, but also the real big turning point was, they have the biggest diva in the locker room over there. You have DK Metcalf. And obviously the big play was 3rd and 1 gets turned into a 3rd and 16 because he allowed Quay Walker to get into his head and he tried to poke him in the eye out of nowhere. So, like, dude, you're not Ric Flair. Stop trying to be a heel and play football. And you get a first down and keep that drive going. Instead, you punt it and you give up more points. So, overall, I think that it was a great game. I thought Rodgers actually looked great. I thought his team around him just kind of let him down. And what more can I say about Jordan Love? I told y'all before the season started that this was the year he was going to ascend to, I predicted, the 7th best quarterback in the league. Like, he was going to firmly entrench himself into some top 5 conversations. I made that prediction before the year, and it's looking great. And he looked the part against the Steelers. He absolutely torched them, 20 completions in a row. Like, this Packer team is scary, and the scary part is Jordan Love normally heats up in the second half of the year, so this just might be the start of something special. So I'm so excited about this upcoming stretch for the Packers. It's going to be great.
Jury's right. Jalen Ramsey is cooked. He is washed. He is burnt toast. He can't cover nobody. He stinks.
Mo, what you think about the student versus sensei game?
I think that it mattered to both players. It mattered to both franchises. I think it mattered more to Rodgers. Rodgers, the thing about Rodgers is when he tells you it doesn't matter to him, you know it means everything to him, right? Because he's King Petty, so you know it mattered to him. But I think that it mattered to Jordan Love not to let Rodgers beat him. So I look good for Jordan Love stepping up and the Packers getting a win. I think the Packers were the better football team, and they showed it. I do agree with Brett. It's not that Rodgers played badly because he didn't. It's just that his defense was just very bad. And there's no remedy to that because they're one of the most expensive defenses in football. There is no one move that's going to fix that. Matter of fact, they made moves they thought to fix that, but they didn't know they were bringing in wash Jalen Ramsey. So it is what it is.
So we gotta cue up the music for Jalen Ramsey. You light my fire.
So Mo, 1,489 passing yards, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, with an average of 104 passer rating. First in the AFC North with a 4-3 record. How is Aaron Rodgers' farewell tour shaping up, man? Is he gonna make a deep playoff run this year?
He is not. He is not. They might make the playoffs, but there won't be a deep playoff run. And the goal for Aaron Rodgers when he went to the Jets, he's going to win the Super Bowl, right? He's going to take the Jets to the Super Bowl. That didn't happen. The goal when he comes to the Steelers the thinking was he's the missing element and he's going to be a huge upgrade over Russell Wilson, but he actually won't be. Like the results are going to be the results. If they don't win any more than 10 games or less, and I think they will win less, and they don't win the division, then he actually isn't an upgrade. He's had the same effect that Russell Wilson had. So his farewell tour is not going to end in a storybook fashion, but I think his career stands on its own. He's a Super Bowl champion. I believe Aaron's won 3 or 4 MVPs. His career is set. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play. This stint at the end of his career with Pittsburgh, the numbers are going to be solid. But I guess ultimately you're asking me, is he going to achieve the goal that they have? No, he's not. They're not going to win anything. So he'll have a good year. They won't win anything, and then he'll leave.
So you don't think the NFL gonna pull a Vince McMahon? You don't let him walk off like Peyton did and get the title walk off, man?
Nah, Peyton. I mean, in Peyton's situation, the NFL did him an incredible solid because Peyton was playing with literally a dominant defense, and remember this is when Peyton Manning couldn't throw the ball 15 yards in the air. Man couldn't throw the football. And you knew he couldn't throw the football, and they found a way to win games because he became the ultimate game manager because of his mind, and they had that dominant defense. Aaron doesn't have a dominant defense. He's not going to have, and he's in his situation from a physical standpoint, he's much better than Peyton was at the end, but he didn't have that defense.
If the 2015 Broncos had, 2025 Aaron Rodgers instead of 2015 Peyton Manning, I don't think they would have, lost all year. They probably win every single playoff game by 20. That's how much better 2025 Aaron Rodgers is than 2015 Peyton Manning. So here's the thing, right? It depends. What is your expectations for the Aaron Rodgers, retirement tour? Because I think you'll be happy with his level of play. I think the biggest issue just ends up being the defense. I don't think they're making a deep playoff run. I think Aaron Rodgers is already providing them much better quarterback play than they got last year. But when the defense has taken a step back like it has, and it's not just the secondary, because the secondary's been a huge problem. Make them chase you. It's an old team, but it's the line too. It's guys like TJ Watt hasn't really been a huge factor this year. They haven't been able to get much of a pass rush. I think that you're going to see a great, individual season from Aaron Rodgers like he's been providing so far. But I think the defense has just taken too far of a step back for me to even consider them to make a deep run. And I hope I'm wrong. Aaron Rodgers will always go down as my favorite quarterback of all time. He's, the greatest quarterback I've had the privilege of, seeing live. So I love watching him, and I hope that he does have a storybook ending. But I think if your expectation is Super Bowl, it's a little too high. I think he'll put together a great year, and maybe I think they'll survive the wild card weekend. But that's about about the highest of expectations I can have for them.
Hey, you know how we talk about great basketball players taking a step back and becoming a role player to win. No, you know what I mean, right? You said, will Embiid take a step back to win, right? The only way Aaron Rodgers has a storybook ending is if he goes back to the Packers and is he okay with being Jordan Love's backup?
Oh man, it's great. Oh, Brett, 38-14, man. The Colts dog walked the Titans, man, and they have been winning games against good teams and dog walking bad teams, man. So how scary are the Colts at this point, man? Should we start raising alarms in the AFC that this is going to be the ones that could possibly beat the Chiefs?
I'd say proceed with caution on them beating the Chiefs. That's a tough. It's easy to it's fun to say beat the Chiefs until it's time to beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead in January. Just a completely different animal. That being said, they could. Like they have the ingredients on paper to do it because how are they doing it? I'll give you one name. Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor has been overly dominant. And
You
obviously
ain't
it's
gonna
not
give
just
Indiana
Jonathan
Jones some
Taylor.
credit, man.
Say it's been Quentin Nelson. It's the offensive line. The offensive line has been absolutely, stonewalling opposing defensive lines. And Jonathan Taylor's been taking advantage. So we're talking about MVP candidates. Jonathan Taylor has arguably been, the best player in the league this year so far. But not only just him, guys like Quentin Nelson on that line. And that's what you need to do to beat a team like Kansas City. Game control, time control. You got to keep the ball away from Mahomes. So theoretically, yeah, they're kind of a scary team because if they play like they do, like they are right now against the Chiefs, then they'll be keeping the ball away from Patrick Mahomes and keeping him on the sidelines. That being said, I'm not gonna anoint them as favorites, knock off the Chiefs quite yet because that's easier said than done. And the reality is, the Chiefs will know exactly what they're trying to do, and they'll game plan around stopping Jonathan Taylor and forcing Daniel Jones to beat them through the air. So it's an interesting theory to think, and it's fun. I hope that game happens, but yeah, I think it's possible, but easier said than done.
Mo, what you think about the Colts?
I think that the Colts are legitimate threats in the AFC, but should they meet the Chiefs, there's no way Spags lets Jonathan Taylor beat him. He won't. It's not gonna happen. Like like Dr. Jones is gonna have to throw for like 350 and 4 touchdowns to beat the Chiefs because Jonathan Taylor's not running all over them the way he's run over the rest of the league. I think the Colts are for real. I think they're the best offensive line in football with one of the 2 or 3 best running backs in football and Jonathan Taylor. They've got really good receiving core, opportunistic defense. They're threats, but like Brett said, if you're going to Arrowhead um, in the playoffs, the same way you say you want to keep the ball away from Patrick Mahomes, Mahomes is a master at keeping the ball away from your offense. If you've got an explosive offense, he knows how to manage the game and manipulate the clock. I would favor the Chiefs in that matchup.
Mm.
So
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a good fight, man, because the Colts look like a well-oiled machine between offense and defense, and with well above competent quarterback play out of Indiana Jones.
Facts.
He's a he's a surprise of the year for me, man.
the key at the end of the day with the matchup like that is the Colts just have to continue to remain true to themselves. The Chiefs have this their superpower is almost just psyching you out enough and winning the game before it even starts. They like take you out of the game mentally. Then you'll get, player teams just acting like they never do. We'll have Baltimore who's run the ball here. They'll go into Kansas City, all of a sudden think that they're a pass heavy team. So it's little things like that. They just have a way of almost just psyching you out before the game even starts and getting you to overthink. So say even if they play at Lucas Oil Stadium, I'd still favor the Chiefs. And it's like I said, they have this weird ability to almost win the game before it even starts. But I'm not counting out the Colts in that kind of matchup. But it'll be a fun run no matter what happens for the Colts. Because let's be real, nobody expected this from the Colts.
Thanks.
Mo, belt to letter A, dollar sign, man. The Broncos beat the brakes off the Cowboys, man. The number one offense couldn't get it done. They was out there struggling, man. Talk to me about this game, man. You think the Broncos is a real contender this year?
I think I give the Broncos an outside shot to be in the AFC title game because of their defense. I still think their offense is inconsistent. I don't think their offense has an identity. They are able to run the ball, but they're not a great running team. Bo Nix is a talented quarterback, but he's also an inconsistent quarterback. So I don't know what their offense is. I think they're going to rely on their defense, and that's what makes them contenders. But if I were a betting man, do I think they're going to end up in the AFC title game? I don't think so. I don't think they're ready yet. Beating up on Dallas doesn't count anyway. Like their offense looked good, but their offense looked good because Dallas has one of the worst defenses in football. I still don't know what their offense is. Like I said, they don't have an offensive identity.
I mean, Dallas was a 35. They're like a 35-40 scoring team, man, and they shut them down. They kept them to 25.
Right, but that's about the defense. They have a great defense, but I still think the offense isn't on par with the defense, and that's the problem.
Brett, what you think?
Say scoring, like your offense doing well against the a Dallas defense is really doesn't move me. Like this is the same defense that allowed like a 350 and multi-touchdown game to Russ, who was literally benched 2 weeks later. Like this defense isn't good. So do I think that this team's going to make a deep playoff run? No, I don't think their offense is up. Like kind of like Mo just said, I don't think their offense is up to the level of the defense. So I think their inconsistency there will hurt them. I'll give them a chance. I do like their defense, but I don't think the offense is going to come along for the ride enough for them to make a deep playoff run this year. But this is a team where if they just continue to keep adding offensive weapons and the development of Bo Nix, I think maybe as early as next year, if they can come in and find their identity and be more consistent on offense, then I think this could be a dangerous team next year. But this year, I'm not really concerned about them making a deep playoff run.
You need Bo Nix to have that game where you're like, oh, he gets it, he sees it. Like when I watch Drake May, I'm like, okay, he gets it. He's arrived. Like Drake May looks scary. Bo Nix still looks like he's trying to figure it out.
Brett, Saquon and Tank Bigsby, man, they rushed for 254 yards and beating the Giants 38-20. Is this a turnaround for the run game for the Eagles, man?
You know what? Let's hope so. It's hard to really judge that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a very dominant win, but obviously there's a couple of turning points in that game that were just kind of brutal. But at the end of the day, they won. They won dominantly. They got some holes open in the rushing game, which I'm curious if they can do that against some of these more elite teams that aren't going to allow that to happen. So overall, though, I still think the Eagles are the team to beat in the NFC. So, and this could very well be the turning point for them, and I hope it is. It should be a fun run for them.
Mo, what you think?
I thought that the offensive line looked the best that it's looked all year long in terms of blocking. I think Saquon had like 2 or 3 runs where he wasn't contacted until he was like at the third level. So if the offensive line is going to dominate like that and let Saquon use his speed and be able to get to the outside and they have more explosive plays, that's another element. Like, remember, they won this game, and I thought in a strong fashion, absent of A.J. Brown. No A.J. Brown. And they won this game in a fairly dominant fashion. I think that's the key to the Eagles. I know people say they want them to throw the football more, but their identity, what helped them win the Super Bowl was they were a running team. and everything was predicated off what Saquon did. I think if they can get back to that, that makes them the team to beat in the NFC.
Well, hey, after that game though, it's probably going to see the end of the tush push this year.
It should after that was really bad. That was bad.
Man, everybody's tush pushing, but yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie, that was a fumble. You know, I didn't even think they blew the whistle in time because it was still moving, so that should have been a fumble. But hey, man, we still end up winning, man. So, but as of right now, shaping up the playoffs for football. If it ends today, we got the Packers at 1, Eagles at 2, Bucks at 3, Seahawks at 4, Lions at 5, Rams, and the 49ers at 7. Mo, do you see it still shaping up to go along that order?
Yeah, I think the Eagles and the Packers are at the top of the NFC. You could throw in maybe the Lions. The Niners have had a good year, but they're holding it together with band-aids with all the injuries. I think they're good enough to maybe make the playoffs. I don't think they're good enough to go on a deep playoff run. I think the Seahawks might be the biggest question mark because they're hard to figure out. One minute they look dominant, and the next minute they look a little erratic. But look, I think the cream of the crop are still the Eagles, and I think it's the Eagles and the Packers. And again, I would throw the Lions in there just because of what they can do offensively.
Brett, what you think? Think the playoffs gonna shape up like this?
My answer is I hope so. The reason being, right? I'm very like I'm the kind of guy that wants to get revenge on teams that have beaten me in the past, right? I'm very kind of petty in that regard. I want revenge. So there's two teams I'd love to be in the playoffs. Obviously, number one being the 49ers. For all those last couple of years of heartbreak with the Aaron Rodgers years, give me some comeuppance for that. Even though they're banged up, I'll take it. Moral victory at that point. But obviously, the second team I'd love to see in the playoffs, and I want at full strength, are the Philadelphia Eagles. I want revenge from last year. So, like I said, I hope so. I hope I can get the 49ers. We beat them. Hope we get the Philadelphia Eagles, and we beat them. So, I'm looking forward to this playoffs, and I hope it shapes up exactly like it's shaping up so far.
Let me add one more team in there that we didn't mention, because they should get mentioned because they're tough out. That's the Rams. The Rams are a problem for anybody. I know the Eagles have been able to figure them out and win tough games against them, but they push Philly to the brink every time they match up. So I think the Rams could go on a run potentially because of what they can do on both sides of the football.
Absolutely. It looks like Carmike got a little frozen up there. That's all right.
I thought he was in deep thought.
So he's contemplating the meaning of life up in that corner.
Right. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, he must be in deep thought. Like, okay.
Absolutely. But that's really all the time that we have for today. So anything you want to add, Mo, before we get up on here?
No, I appreciate Jury. I appreciate everybody in the chat, the energy you guys brought this morning. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you check out all the great content we have at Wire to Wire Network. Wire to Wire Network, we appreciate you.
Carmike knew we were going to ask him if he wanted to come on Thursday, so he had to dip early. So.
Oh, that's why he dipped. Smart.
Thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in. Definitely appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of your evening.